Hey, welcome back to the channel for another video. If you are stopping by for the first time, please do me a favor, subscribe to the channel and hit the like button. In today's video, I will talk about one of the ETFs that I currently hold. The name of the ETF is XEQT, and this is a BlackRock ETF. But before I continue, a quick disclaimer. The information that I'm sharing does not constitute financial advice. Before you invest in anything, please do your own research and make sure that you only invest in things that you understand. Also, I am not doing any promotion for BlackRock whatsoever. I am just sharing with you some information about an ETF that I have invested in. And this ETF happens to be offered by BlackRock. With that being said, I will get back to my topic. XEQT is an all-in-one equity ETF which holds Canadian equities, US equities, other developed market equities such as Western Europe, Japan, Australia, and emerging market equities like China, Brazil. If you live in Canada and you want an ETF that gives you exposure to not only Canadian stocks, but to worldwide stocks, you may need to consider XEQT. Personally, I hold XEQT both in my taxable account and in my tax-free savings account. If you want to know how much I have invested in XEQT in my taxable account, please check out my May 2022 portfolio update video. All right, let's take a look at some details about XEQT now. This is the BlackRock website. You can see here XEQT iShares Core Equity ETF portfolio. Let's take a look at the overview. They give you here 3 reasons to invest in XEQT. The first reason is to get broad diversification across regions in one ETF. Instead of investing in an ETF that tracks the US market, in another one that tracks the Canadian market, and in another one that tracks developed market other than US and Canada, or another one that tracks emerging market, you can have this diversification with one ETF. This is really convenient. The second reason is XEQT is continuously monitored and automatically rebalanced. So once you buy XEQT, you don't need to do any rebalancing. You're basically hands off. The third reason is the low cost fee of the ETF. They have given here the management fee, which is 18 basis points. The management expense ratio is 20 basis points or 0.20%. This is how much they charge you to manage the ETF for you. You can also see here the investment objective. This is to provide long-term capital growth, which is really good, especially if you're young and you have time ahead of you. You'll see your investment grow over time. Let's take a look at the performance of the ETF now. You can see on this table the average annual return as of May the 31st, 2022. And since inception, XEQT has a return on average 9.8% annually. The next tab is the cumulative return. You can see also here, year to date, the return has been minus 10.32%. And since inception, the cumulative return is 30.17%. This is the calendar year. We have data for 2020 and 2021. And the reason is because XEQT is a relatively new ETF. The inception date was August the 7th, 2019. 2020 was the first time that the ETF traded for an entire year. And the total return for 2020 was 11.71%. And the total return for 2021 was 19.57%. You can see on the left here a chart of a 10K invested. This is the graph of a hypothetical 10K invested. Let's take a look at the chart quickly. Let's go to all. It's going to give us everything since inception. So if you had invested 10K since inception, which was August the 7th, 2019, you would have today somewhere around $12,902.96, or plus 29.03%. This is as of June 8th, 2022. You can also see here the historical net asset value and the price. Let's go to all again to see everything since inception. So at inception, the net asset value was $20. If you move a little bit ahead, you can see the net asset value in green and the price in blue. So let's take a look at the price as of June the 10th. It was $23.80. You can see it here in blue. Let's scroll down a little bit. You have also another chart. This is the distributions chart, which is the dividend that XEQT pays. Let's take a look at it too. Okay, you can see here we have data from December the 30th, 2019, all the way to March the 25th, 2022. I think this is the most recent dividend payment. We are currently in June, and there's going to be another dividend payment because this is the second quarter of the year, June 2022. They're going to be declaring dividend payment by the end of this month. Let's just take a look at the amounts of dividend that they paid quickly. In December 2019, this was roughly 18 cents. In March 2020, 6 cents. In June 2022, it was roughly 13 cents. In September 2020, 8 cents. In December 2020, 13 cents. In March 2021, 10 cents. In June 2021, 14 cents. In September 2021, 7 cents. In December 2021, 15 cents. And in March 2022, 8 cents. You can also see the calendar year. Let's take a look at it. In 2019, they paid 26 cents in total in dividend. In 2020, they paid 40 cents in total. And in 2021, they paid 60 cents. You can see at the increase, it went from 26 cents in total in 2019 to 60 cents in total in 2021. Okay, let's move on to some key facts. You can see here the net assets as of June the 10th, 2022 was 1,108,142,606 Canadian dollar. This is the commencement date or inception date, August the 7th, 2019. The exchange, it's of course the Toronto Stock Exchange or TSX. The asset class, multi-asset. The fiscal year end, December the 31st, 2022. The unit outstanding as of June the 10th, 2022, 46,550,000. The number of holdings, 4. Again, this is the US market, the Canadian market, other developed markets such as Western Europe, Japan, Australia, and emerging markets such as China and Brazil. You have here the number of underlying holdings as of June the 9th, 2022, 9,680. This is the total number of stocks that XEQT holds. You have here the price as of June the 10th, 2022, $23.80. Let's scroll down for more portfolio characteristics. Investment program, they offer DRIP or dividend reinvestment plan. The ETF is also eligible for registered plans, such as your RRSP if you are in Canada. This is the distribution frequency, quarterly or every 3 months. This is the last time that they pay dividend per share, March the 21st, 2022, and the amount was 8 cents. You can see also the distribution yield as of June the 9th, 2022, 1.39%. You can see here the fees. The management fee is 18 basis points. The management expense ratio, 20 basis points. Next, you have the risk indicator that goes from low to high. And for XEQT, this is low to medium. Let's move on to the holdings now. You can see here the 4 holdings, iThought, XIC, XEF, and IEMG. Let's start with iThought, which is the US dollar market. The rate is 44.16%. Next, you have XIC. This is the Canadian market, and the rate is 26.61%. Then you have XEF. which is other developed markets such as Western Europe, Japan, and Australia. And the weight is 24.15%. Finally, we have IEMG, which is emerging markets, and the weight is 4.64%. You can also see here it has some US and Canadian cash, 0.23% US cash and 0.20% Canadian cash. Let's take a look at the aggregate underlying holdings. On this page, you can see the top 10 holdings. Number one, you have Apple. The weight is 2.42%, and the sector is IT. Two, Microsoft Corp, weight 2.17%, sector IT again. Three, Royal Bank of Canada, weight 1.65%, sector financials. Four, Toronto Dominion, weight 1.51%, sector financials. Five, Amazon, weight 1.11%, sector consumer discretionary. Six, Enbridge, weight 1.05%, sector energy. Seven, Bank of Nova Scotia, weight 0.89%, sector financials. Eight, Canadian Natural Resources, weight 0.88%, sector energy. Nine, Brookfield Asset Management, weight 0.8%, sector financials. And 10, Bank of Montreal, weight 0.8%, and sector is financials again. We can move on to the next page to see more underlying holdings. You have here Canadian National Railway, Canadian Pacific Railway, Alphabet Inc. Class A, Canadian Cash, Alphabet Inc. Class C, Suncor Energy, Tesla, TC Energy, Berkshire Hathaway Inc. Class B. Shout out to Warren Buffett and Charlie Munger, by the way. Nutrient Ltd. If you want to see more holdings, you can just go to the next page, number 3, then number 4, all the way to 983. I'm not going to go over all the holdings. Okay, let's take a look at the exposure breakdowns. This is the geography. You can see number 1 is United States, and this is 43.43%. Then you have Canada, 25.87%, Japan, 5.54%, United Kingdom, 3.70%, Switzerland, 2.38%, France, 2.36%, Australia, 2.12%, Germany, 1.82%, China, 1.67%, Netherlands, 1.06%. You can just click here to show more. Cash and or derivatives, 0.77%, and the other countries, 9.29%. You can also take a look at the asset class quickly here. It's going to be equity anyway. So equity, 99.57%, and cash and or derivatives, 0.43%. If you have time and you want to learn more about XEQT, you can read this literature. You have a bunch of reports, such as the product brief, fact sheet, the ETF facts, the prospectus, the annual financial statements. Vanguard has a similar ETF called VEQT. Let's take a look at a few facts about VEQT. You can see here the market price as of June the 10th, 2022 was $31.98. The management expense ratio, 24 basis points. The annual dividend yield, 1.54%. The distribution frequency annually. The asset under management, 2 billion. If you scroll a bit down, you'll see more facts about the VEQT. This is the inception date, which was January the 29th, 2019. This is the same year as the inception date of XEQT 2019. This is the income distribution per unit, which was 51 cents. And this is annually. We can take a look at the performance to see how VEQT has done over the past few years compared to XEQT. In 2020, the total return by market price for VEQT was 11.29%, which was very similar to XEQT. For XEQT, it was 11.71%. And in 2021, the total return by market price for VEQT was 19.59%. Again, this is very similar to the return of XEQT in 2021, which was 19.57%. Honestly, you cannot go with either ETF. You can just flip a coin and pick whichever you want. Or if you prefer BlackRock to Vanguard, you can pick XEQT. If you prefer Vanguard to BlackRock, you can pick VEQT. Or even if you prefer the letter V to the letter X, you can pick VEQT. Or if you prefer the letter X to the letter V, you can pick XEQT. Personally, I chose XEQT or VEQT for a few reasons. The first reason is the management expense ratio. XEQT has a lower management expense ratio than VEQT. 20 basis points for XEQT versus 24 basis points for VEQT. The second reason is I wanted to have more exposure to the US market and to other developed markets such as Western Europe, Japan, and Australia. And XEQT has more exposure to these markets than VEQT. And the third reason is the distribution frequency. XEQT pays a dividend quarterly and VEQT pays dividend annually. Personally, I prefer to receive my dividend payment quarterly so I can reinvest it right away and have my money work for me. But these are just my reasons and they are very subjective. You might have your reasons to pick one ETF over the other. All right, this brings us to the end of the video. Feel free to leave a comment below. Let me know what you think about XEQT and any other all-in-one equity ETF you know of. Please like the video and subscribe to the channel. Thank you again for watching. Peace out.